Hey everybody, in today's video we're going to be comparing 3 different suction cup mounts that I've been testing the last few weeks. We've got the PGYTECH cap lock suction cup mount, the ULANZI SCO2, and the NEEWER 6-inch suction cup. Now these are designed for a variety of different cameras, from your smaller action cameras or an Osmo Pocket 3 all the way up to a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. So all 3 of these are purchased at the same price point, so price shouldn't be a big factor at first glance, but hopefully by the time we get to the end of this video you're going to have some different thoughts as to whether or not they're worth what they cost at the same price point. Now what inspired me to make this video or purchase suction cup mounts in the first place was that I recently purchased a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and I've really been enjoying that as a secondary camera in comparison to my mirrorless or my Sony a6500 that I'm using right now. As much as I love my S24 Ultra, which is amazing by the way, there's just certain limitations on what it can and cannot do, and strapping that outside of my car is going to be a no-go. It's not going to happen. On TikTok as well, a lot of these are actually surging and trending right now, and I didn't know which one do I need. Do I need the biggest one? Do I need the smallest one? Can I get something in the middle? Which one is the best one for hopefully all applications? And these were the top 3 that I found, which is why I purchased them, and here we are. Now first up is the PGYTECH cap lock suction cup. This one has an all plastic construction except for the metal clamp on the magic arm. On the upside, it's really convenient. The quick release mechanism lets you pop your GoPro or camera on and off without having to remove the entire suction cup, and that's great for swapping batteries or adjustable angles quickly. However, because it's mostly plastic, I'd only trust this thing with lighter setups like an action camera or an Osmo Pocket. I definitely would not mount a heavier mirrorless or DSLR on this, especially on bumpy roads or at higher speeds. So for a lightweight rig though, this is a solid pick. And if we just take a quick look at how this operates here, you would stick it to your flat surface, glass, the side of the car, etc., flip the switch down, and it pulls a pretty solid suction quickly and easily. From here, you've got the magic arm, which is really only purpose built for this because it locks right onto the ball, so you can't even repurpose this magic arm for other devices. Something to keep in mind, but it does move freely, and then once you do a couple twists of the handle here, it locks in place. Last but not least is that quick release mechanism that's on the top here that keeps this locked in. You press this, it slides out, push it back in, you'll hear it clip back right into place, and you can also swap this out because they have a GoPro specific one. So if you want to have your action camera ready to go on one and another smaller camera on this other quarter 20 here, you could easily swap the 2 of them because of this mechanism right here, which is very nice. Next, let's check out the ULANZI SCO2. This one comes with a metal base plate supporting both quarter 20 and 3/8-inch mount, plus a NATO rail attachment for added flexibility. The magic arm is longer and more robust than standard arms, and it has a rosette attachment on one end, giving you a really secure angle lock that you don't typically see in this price range. One issue I noticed is that the ULANZI suction cup can be a bit picky on slightly curved surfaces. It definitely works best on flatter surfaces. Also, the plastic valve pin can pop out completely, which isn't ideal, but for flat surfaces, it's been a strong and versatile mount. And a quick close-up before we wrap on the ULANZI and move to the NEEWER. So you've got a 3/8 and a quarter 20 on both the front and the back side here. There's also a quarter 20 here on this end over here. I really like the NATO rail. A couple different reasons here. One is just a quick few twists right here, and you can pull the whole magic arm off. If you didn't want to use the NATO rail, there's another mount underneath there, so you have that option as well. Once you kind of got the NATO rail on here, it allows you to slide it front and back without it totally coming off because it's got these end stops, which are really nice and convenient. And then the magic arm itself is really nice. It's robust, it's heavy duty, it works well, and you've got that rosette on the top, which is great because then you can just twist this and you got the locking pin that's going to go into place. The only drawback of this magic arm with the NATO rail, well, if you don't have another product or a use for something that needs a NATO rail, once again, this whole magic arm is what it is within its own self. So if you need it to connect to a quarter 20 on another device, that's not a possibility. But if you have a NATO rail ecosystem going on, this could be a great option. And they also include a GoPro mount just so that it's mentioned. And what's nice about this one right here is it has the cutouts on the bottom for the locking pin here on the rosette connector. So you can just twist this on, get it to lock into a hole just like so. And even if this has a weird twist for one reason or another, the mount is actually never going to come loose because it is literally locked in place because of that. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, if you could hit the like and subscribe button, it really helps the channel. And if you make it to the end of the video, comment down below which suction cup you like the best and why. Lastly, we have the NEEWER 6-inch suction cup, which feels the most robust. The larger suction cup grips extremely well on both flat and slightly curved surfaces, and the entire base plate is metal with multiple mounting holes. It also has a 360-degree rotating base, which is really handy for getting that extra bit of adjustability. I appreciate the metal valve pin. It's built in and it doesn't pop out like the ULANZI. The downside here, the magic arm is just a standard 1/4-20 on both ends design here. This can be tricky to tighten perfectly. I don't really prefer them, but if you're after maximum suction power and you don't mind a simpler magic arm, this mount is incredibly reliable. And before we wrap up, our quick close-up on the newer suction cup mount so you can see everything about it here. Like I said, I really enjoy this all metal base plate design. I really like the pumping, the vacuum pin here. It's just metal. It just seems more premium and robust than the ULANZI here. I'm really liking the rotating 360 base at the bottom because sometimes you need a little adjustment. You've got 1/4-20 mounts on the front and back with those little lock pin holes here. So you can see right here. And then as well on top, and we'll look at that in a second. Disappointing part is this magic arm. This thing, I'm going to be blunt, it sucks, okay? Any type of magic arm or any type of attachment for that matter that is just 1/4-20 and it uses these little base plates underneath to try and like get the extra torque or the compression between you and your device, they never hold tight. Why? Because with threads, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and no matter how tight you get it, if something pushes it to the left, the whole thing comes undone. That's not that big of a deal when this thing is sitting flat, maybe on a car, but when you have it mounted to the car door and you have a heavy camera, and by heavy I mean, why wouldn't you put a DSLR or something on here? That's not very heavy, but if you have it at this angle, the weight of the camera pulls the magic arm down. What does that mean? So you got to get it adjusted right and tight and then rotate it another 180 degrees so that the pressure of the camera tightens the threads more than loosens them. Does this make sense what I'm saying right here? Okay, so what is the solution? What do I recommend? Just take this piece of crap off, save it for some other simple project around your office or whatever, and then buy something different, okay? I just got this one from K&F Concepts here, not to like be switching brands outside of the video, but this one has a little rosette on the top and the bottom, which is fantastic. And then you can take this and you can see all these other different mount holes that we have over here. Yes, and I can mount it right here into the center, and it's going to lock right into that center piece, which is great. So instead of me having to twist it like a dummy over here, okay, I could just grab this, get it all lined up, and twist with my fingers. Look at that. Oh my God, it's so simple. Okay, I don't know why they didn't think about this, and maybe they'll update that in the future. Reach out to me, Neewer, when you get a better one, and then you can get this all locked into place, and it's never going to come loose. And this magic arm is a lot nicer because it's a little bit larger, a little more robust. It just gives you that just a little bit of extra edge and articulation when mounting something to it. And a GoPro mount is also included too. So if we summarize the pros and cons, here's a quick breakdown. The PGYTECH Cap Lock pros: quick release is convenient, it's great for lighter action cameras, but the cons are that it's mostly plastic and it's not recommended for heavier gear. The ULANZI SCO2, the pros are going to be that we got a metal base plate, the NATO rail and the rosette attachments are really nice, and you got that sturdy magic arm. The cons: it can struggle on curved surfaces, and it's got that plastic valve pin. And for the newer 6-inch, the pros, we've got a large cut for strong suction, metal construction, 360 rotation, and a metal valve pin. The cons though, the standard magic arm can be a little bit cumbersome to get perfectly right. So final thoughts and wrap up. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, all three of these were purchased for the same price point. When I look at the NEEWER and the ULANZI, I think that's a fairly fair price for what they offer, and they're robust enough. But when I start to look at the PGYTECH comparatively for the same price, I don't know if this carries its weight for what I'm getting. With its pros and cons, mostly plastic build, there is some convenience of it being smaller and compact and easy to take with you on trips and whatnot. If you want to use this inside of your car and snap it onto a window or a windshield, really convenient. Flip the button, you're good to go. Can you use it externally? Yes, with a very light camera or an action camera. However, for the same money, you could get something over here that's a lot more robust and can handle your mirrorless or a DSLR camera up to a few pounds. At the end of the day, naturally, you need to decide what is the purpose of the suction cup for you and what do you need it to do and how. For me, I want something that can hold a mirrorless camera outside of my car while I'm driving 60 miles an hour down the freeway. Not that I'm going to do it all the time, but I want it to be robust enough to do it when I need it, and the rest of the time when I'm using it and sticking it to a mirror inside or a window or for all my different content creating needs, it's going to get the job done. I don't even have to think twice about it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and comment down below which suction cup you would trust with your camera and why. I'll see you in the next video.